Hey guys, good afternoon everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. This is my third live in less than 24 hours, so here we are. Yes, I look very tired. I've had about 2.5 hours sleep in the last 36 hours, so yes, I do look very tired. I've also got wet hair because I had a shower, washed my hair, and then realised that my son has gone on holiday with my hairdryer. So clearly he doesn't understand that hotels have hairdryers. Anyway, there is that. I am going to turn my camera off in a second because the lights that I need to power this green screen are giving me a headache. I just wanted to show you this. The most the most poignant photo of the entire case. And it's this one of Kiely's grandpa. Kiely's grandpa sitting with Kiely for one last time. And I think that photo just says everything. It says everything about a club that Kiely's grandpa and the rest of Kiely's family, they're now in a club that so many of us belong to. Nobody should ever have to join that club. And that is losing a child or a grandchild. It's unimaginable. But at least what Adventures with Purpose have done is brought Kiely home. And it's the beginning of the answers now for her family as to what happened. And I think those answers will come. They'll come with the analysis of the car. They'll also come with the autopsy. So it's fine to speculate. It's fine to have your own theories, but at the same time, let's be respectful to Kiely's family and just, you know, honor the fact that they're in this club now and they're in that club forever. And Kiely, at the tender age of 16, has lost her life. And regardless of what circumstances that is, it's a life that's just been extinguished far, far, far too soon. So a very, very poignant photo, a very touching moment. And I mean, it just says everything. They say, you know, a picture can say 1,000 words, and I think that says everything that we need to say. So on that note, I'm going to turn my camera off and then I can turn my lights off. So just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, guys. Well, I turn my lights off. The green screen's annoying because you have to have lots and lots of lights on for green screens to look at least half decent. There we go. That's better. I'm going to sit in the complete dark. And okay, so what I want to do is go through what we know, what we've learned in the last few hours. And then at 7 p.m. my time, so an hour's time, Placer County Sheriff's Office are doing a press conference. So when I set this live up, my original plan was just to stream the press conference and then have a chat and not stay on too long. But because a lot of information's come out, I thought, let's go live a little bit earlier and then we can have a chat about it. Exactly, Kathy. Picture speaks volumes. It says everything. Yeah, it says everything that we need to know at this moment in time. We don't know that yet. Those answers will come. But I'm assuming that many of you watched the live stream. It's only a short stream, like 9 minutes long, that Adventures with Purpose did about an hour ago. and they have given permission for news outlets to use their footage, and hopefully that applies to YouTube channels as well, because I just want to stream the key part, the key piece of information that I think we can take from their work. And, you know, it just shows how fantastic their expertise is, their equipment is. And I just want to play the first couple of minutes of that stream. And we get what we get then is an accurate timeline of when she was found and how she was found. So let's do that now. Okay, let me know if there's an echo. I'll mute my mic, but just let me know if there's an echo.
We have found Kiely Rodni's vehicle and have confirmed that there were remains inside.
An official investigation, an official identification of the remains will be made and announced by authorities once their investigations are complete. Please understand and respect this is a highly active investigation by the FBI and multiple local sheriff's departments, and we are limited to the scope of details we can release.
We began our search for Kiely at Prosser Creek Reservoir on August 21st at 10:40 a.m. We placed 2 sonar boats in the water. By 11:15 a.m., Nick detected an object underwater using cutting-edge Garmin sonar technology. I was able to then confirm that it was in fact a vehicle in roughly 14 feet of water and only 55 feet offshore. After marking the vehicle with our magnet, Nick suited up in his dive gear and conducted the dive to formally identify and assess the vehicle, with me running OTS comms topside. Once we confirmed it was indeed Kiely's vehicle, we immediately notified family, law enforcement, and Dad and Grandpa were on scene within minutes. Please refer to our episodes for complete search investigation that we conducted. These episodes will be released very soon. Again, this takes time to edit. We will need to put these together in an appropriate way in order to respect law enforcement as well as the family. That those should be out, I would estimate, probably within the next week or so.
Okay, so that's just the part that I wanted to play, and I'll just pause on that screen again because it's iconic. It's just iconic, heartbreaking, but iconic. So it took them 35 minutes, just 35 minutes to find her. So they started their work around 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, and they were given some intelligence that I speculated on in a video that I did when that news came out. Fox 40 News were the crew that followed them out there. So they started at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning at Donner Reservoir, which is quite close to Kiely's home. It's, if we get the map up, just give me a second. Okay, so Donner Reservoir, or Donner Lake rather, is this one. Now I know a lot of you guys will know this. You'll have kind of followed this through, you know, with us all. But I just want to give kind of a full and complete picture in this hour of how Kiely was found. And I think it just hammers home just how important it is to have expertise and technology on scene. It's in about an hour's time. It's 7 p.m. UK time or 11 a.m. Pacific time. So 50 minutes, 52 minutes. I'll be streaming that presser. Okay, so they started Saturday morning at Donna Lake, which is this one here. And Kiely's home is down here, just down here somewhere. So she would have had to have gone off course to find herself in Donna Lake. But I think the intelligence that they had led them to believe that she might have at least started to head home. So the waterways and the lakes on that route would be the first places that they would search. The speculation I had was that intelligence that law enforcement had seen her vehicle on a traffic camera, because there are a couple of traffic cameras at intersections on Kiely's route home. So that was my speculation, but obviously that was just a speculation, and that was incorrect. Another reason I think they started at Donna rather than at Prosser, which is the one that's like a few hundred yards, literally a few hundred yards away from where the party was, is because law enforcement had been there. They'd been there for days. Once they got that phone ping at 12:33, within the close vicinity of the water, it was an obvious place for them to start the search. They had divers in, they had news crews down there. There was a lot of activity at that lake. So, you know, they missed her. They just missed her. But once Adventures with Purpose decided, and you can just imagine how that conversation went with law enforcement. You know, law enforcement says, well, we've already checked Prosser. And the guys just say, well, just let's have a look while we're here. You know, you can kind of imagine the conversation. And lo and behold, there she was. So at 10:40 a.m., for those of you guys just coming in, if you missed Adventures with Purpose, and the link to their live is in the description box, by the way. 10:40, they launched 2 boats containing sonar. Yeah, that's right, Mel. It's superior technology. So although I was under the impression that the police did have sonar, perhaps they didn't. Perhaps that's my misconception, or perhaps the sonar they did have wasn't of, you know, I don't know, maybe outdated. I don't know. I'm speculating. So 35 minutes later, they found, what is Cassie chewing? What are you chewing? What are you chewing? She's not like a packet. You can't chew that. It's a piece of plastic. Sorry, guys. Just got to take the piece of plastic from my dog. Cassie. Thank you. Thank you. Good girl. She's got another piece. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my. Guys, never get a Springer Spaniel. She finds the strangest of things. I've got these like sticky things. They're like, they don't work. So, you know, she might as well chew them all up. They don't work. I was hanging some pictures and I ran out of nails. So I bought these and they're not good. They don't hang. They don't work. Anyway, that's what she got. I have no idea how she got them. That's what she got. Yeah, so 35 minutes, and they located her. And if you caught my live yesterday, the last live that I did at like 3 o'clock in the morning, stupid o'clock, then you'll have seen us play this footage. And again, I'm just going to play some of this through. And this was them bringing Kiely's car up from the water. So as the guy said, she was only 55 feet out. It looks less, to be fair. It looks closer to the shore than 55 feet, but, you know, we can't, it's difficult to gauge from, you know, overhead footage. 55 feet out into the lake, and it was 14 feet deep. That's all. The car was upturned, it's upside down, and I've learnt a lot in the last day about what happens to vehicles when they submerge in water. And apparently it's very common for them to upturn when they enter the water, because the nose goes in first, and that's the heaviest part of the vehicle because it's containing the engine in the vast majority of cars. So it's already top heavy. So it goes in nose first, and then it kind of like, it will, I don't know how to describe it, but it'll kind of sit on its engine, so to speak, on its nose, and then it'll flip. The other thing that helps that along is that there's air in the tyres. So the underside of the car is lighter than the top because there's air in the tyres. So that's the reason I'm led to believe, and I'm no expert on this. I really am no expert on this. I can give you a good outline of search dog techniques and so on and so forth, a little bit about land searching, but water searching is not something that I've really looked into, but I certainly will do now. And it's fascinating, but it's utterly devastating. It really is. You know, you can see how close that is to the shore. Now, there's a photo that came out this afternoon from people on scene, and it's a really clear photo of the car coming out. And there's a blue drape over the car as it comes out. So what they've done before they brought it up, they've righted it, turned it right side up, and then they use like inflatable kind of bags, big bags, to bring it up so it can be towed out easily. So what you saw from that photo, and I'll just put this photo up just for a second. Trigger warning, it's not a nice photo, but it's very enlightening. And full disclosure, I got this from Gray Hughes. I don't know where Gray Hughes got it, but Gray Hughes posted this on his community wall. So it's very close up, and there's a lot of information in this photo. So the blue drape is over the back of the vehicle. Now, you could possibly say, well, it's coming out back first, so they'll drape the entire vehicle. They're just draping that first because it comes out first. I would say that they're doing this because she's in the back. Because a vehicle goes in nose first, the last the last to submerge, and trigger warning, this is horrible, the last part of the vehicle to submerge is the back end. So if someone's trying to get out, they'll scramble into the back seat to try to get out of the back. And obviously Kiely didn't make it. If indeed that's what's happened. We don't know that's what's happened. It's just a speculation. The other reason why people might end up in the back is if they're unconscious, and I hope she was unconscious when she went in the water. But if they are unconscious and they've not got a seatbelt on, then the way that the vehicle moves in the water, as it's turning, as it's moving, it can kind of fling that person, if you will, to the back of the vehicle, because that back of the vehicle's lighter. So I don't think it's alarming that she was in the back, if indeed she is in the back, because that's something that regularly happens. Now, there was a comment before saying, was her phone in the car? We don't know that yet. We might find that out at the presser in a few minutes' time, in about 40 minutes' time. I don't know. The other notable things here, broken wing mirror and a dent. And I'm going to speculate that the car went in on that side and hit the bottom on that side and then flipped. Like it didn't go in absolutely down nose first. It went into one side, and that's what's broken the mirror. There's at least one broken window. You can see the shards of glass just in there. Now, whether that broke as part of the submersion process or whether the guys broke that, whether the divers broke that in order to make it easier to get her out, I don't know. I suspect that they would break the window to make it easier. I don't know though. I can't say that for sure. No, it's not happened yet. I'll put banner on. Put a banner on. Let's put a banner on. Create a banner. Placer County Presser, 11 a.m. PST. Let's spell county right. That might be helpful. Okay. All right, there we go. So for anybody coming in, you'll know that you've not missed it. You're not late. I've just come live an hour early so that I can have a chat with you all to go through what we know so far. So if you're just coming in, then I've just played a couple of minutes from Adventures with Purpose. If you haven't caught their live that happened about an hour and 20 minutes ago, please do go and check that out. It's only a short live. It's only 9 minutes. The link to it is in the description box of this video, but please do go and watch it. It's very enlightening because it gives us the time span and the dimensions of where she was found and how she was found. So to recap that very quickly before I move on, 10:40 a.m. Sunday morning, they put 2 boats with sonar in Prosser Reservoir. Within 35 minutes, by 11:15, they'd located a vehicle. So Nick, one of the divers, suited up, went in, identified Kiely's vehicle, and I'm just going to show you the just up here. Just a second, let me find it. Some underwater footage. Where is it? Have I missed it? And for those of you who want to know who the whole team is, that's the whole team. So it's not just the two guys. There's 7 of them. So that's the whole team. But there's some underwater footage here. Where is it? Have I missed? There it is. There it is. All right. So again, trigger warning. This is not nice.
We immediately notified family.
So there, that's what it looked like underwater. And there you can see her license plate. So they knew immediately that they'd got the vehicle. And then, obviously, Kiely was inside. Now, law enforcement haven't formally identified Kiely as of yet. The formal identification will come at the autopsy. So what you might hear at the presser in a few minutes is a young woman fitting the description of Kiely Rodni has been located, or they might identify her based on distinguishing features. So she's got a tattoo on her ribs. They can identify based on a tattoo. The state of decomposition, it can be accelerated in water, but that depends on things like current. It depends on animal predation. If the water's very cold, though, then it actually slows down decomposition. So bodies that go into very deep water, when it's very cold, and you basically got a lack of oxygen, then the bacteria that breaks down, that starts that decomposition process, doesn't get a foothold. So decomposition is actually slowed down. So I don't know, with her being so close to shore and only in 14 feet in summer. Now, obviously 14 feet in the water is going to be cold, but is it cold enough to slow down the decomposition to a point where, you know, she'd be readily identified? Perhaps. Stay on this channel. I'm going to be streaming the press conference at 11 a.m. PST or 7 p.m. my time. So just stay on this channel. I'll be streaming it. I've got to find it. I don't know whether Placer County are going to stream it live on their Facebook or whether one of the news channels will stream it. I'm hoping that the local news people that did the live footage, which I'm going to put back on for a little minute or two. I'm hoping these guys will be streaming it, because I don't know whether you've been watching the pressers from Placer County, but the quality's been awful. That audio's been awful, really bad. But you know, this is important. This isn't just an update. I mean, all presses are important, obviously, but this isn't just an update on a search. This is actually the location of a person, a young woman, a child who has lost her life in these horrific circumstances. So I'm hoping that some of the news channels will stream it and the audio will be better. But stay on this channel. I'll be streaming it. Okay, so this was live. I streamed this live from KCRA. It was about an hour long, and they slowly brought the car up, kind of using these inflatable bags, brought the car up, and then they tow it onto land. And it's heartbreaking footage. It's enthralling to watch, you got to say, but it's horrible. It's horrible to think that you know, she's in there. Me too. I stayed up all night. I was up in the night anyway because my son had a flight. He was getting picked up at 2:45 a.m. He had a flight to his holiday at, I think it was like 6 a.m. or something. So I was up to make sure that he didn't fall asleep. But then this all broke. So I decided to go live and I streamed this live. Then I took the dogs out at 6, got back about 7 and went to bed. Couldn't go to sleep, could not go to sleep. I did end up falling asleep for about 2.5 hours. So I've had 2.5 hours sleep in the last about 36 hours. So I am feeling a little bit tired now, but I think I'm just running on adrenaline. And, you know, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to lose a child. We don't know the temperatures. I'd like to know. That's something that I'd really like to know, what the approximate temperature was. Adventures with Purpose didn't say. But for those just coming in, she was 14 feet submerged, the car upside down, and that's about 55 feet from shore, from that where that red buoy is. That's 55 feet from shore. So the other thing that's been debated a lot over the last few hours is where this car was. And I think I identified it last night in the live. The press conference, somebody's just asked when the press conference is. It's across the bottom on the ticker at the bottom, Placer County, Presser, 11 a.m. PST. So whatever that is in your time zone, I'll be streaming it on this channel. So I think I identified in between the news breaking and me going live to break the news, and then the me making the decision to come back on and stream again. I believe I located that point where she went in. So again, I've got to start. Why do I have to stop share and then reshare every time I want to change tabs? It's annoying. Okay. So I believe that's the point now, right about there. I believe her grandpa was sitting here, and you could see the trees. Now it doesn't look the same because this is Google Maps from 2020, and that looks very silted up. So the water levels were obviously a lot lower in 2020 when this imagery was taken. But what I was able to do was line up the paths, line up the trees and the mountains in the background, but more importantly, the paths from the imagery that was coming out. So I'll show you my thought process, because some people in my Facebook group said I got it wrong. So I had to explain why I believe I got it right. So using that's the car now fully out. Using that, you can see these paths there. And then if you look on Google, you can see the path there and there. The only reason why they look different is because this on Google is now filled with water. This creek is now now fuller. And there's various angles in which, you know, I've looked at this, and I'm convinced that that's the location. I was very pleased that the map man himself, Gray Hughes, I found a map. He was live last night when I was live, so I hadn't seen this until this morning. But this is Gray Hughes's map, and he's got a better map than I have. But it's very clear that it's the same location. So there's that path. That's where Adventures with Purpose and the people watching were. The car's just out here. Grandpa would have been sitting somewhere here. So what I did was I tilted Gray's map, to make it kind of the same orientation. And I've cut off the path's kind of here. You got the path here. Adventures with Purpose here. Car was out here somewhere. So it's exactly the same in all three. So I'm convinced that that is the location. And that was right all along. If I'm wrong, then I'm happy to be wrong. If someone can say, no, Michelle, you're wrong, and, you know, the paths that you're looking at are, you know, there's another set of paths that look the same, then that's fine. I'm wrong, and that's okay. But that's where I believe she was, about here. And this was fuller, or this was fuller rather. Okay, so some people said that the car was at the boat ramp. That's not true. It just doesn't look right. And then some people said that it was kind of more out here because this is a hill, and where the group campground is, I've got the little pin on the group campground, because there's two campgrounds. There's a family campground, and then there's the group campground. So some people were saying, well, if she was at the group campground, then she's tried to get out on this road here. And she's gone through the trees, down the hill, down the banking, and gone in the water, which could well be true. Could well be true. But the final resting place of that vehicle was here, was the opposite side of the creek, this creek, which is now full of water. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that's clear. But again, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to be corrected if it turns out that that I'm wrong on that assessment. I guess in the general scheme of things, it doesn't matter. It's just what us in the true crime community do. Is we try to work these things out. And yeah, I've talked about that piece with Denise. What I think's happened is she's gone in the water. The engine's the heaviest part. So as the vehicle submerges, it goes down nose first, but it doesn't necessarily mean it goes down nose first, like exactly on its nose. If it's cocked to one side, it means it will fall down to one side and then it will flip. So that's why I think it's damaged. I mean, could be wrong. She could have hit something on her way down. You know, if she did veer off the path here, or the road here somewhere, and career down here, she could have hit a tree. You'd think there'd be some wreckage, but no, the car was intact. It was just a dent, and the wing mirror was off. I mean, not completely off. It was still attached. So you'd think if she'd hit a tree, you think there'd have actually been wreckage, a little bit of wreckage, even if it was just a wing mirror or a bit of glass on the ground. I don't know. We'll find out these things presumably in the fullness of time. And I am keeping an eye on the time, guys. Press conference is in about 23 minutes. So the thing I speculated on last night was that they weren't actually at this side. That the sanctuary that they talk about is actually on this side. Now, I've heard that, but I can't confirm it because it's not on the map as the sanctuary. It's just what the kids call it. And if they were parked on this side, somewhere in here, like the wooded areas somewhere in here or here even, and they park the vehicles like in one of these open areas, then as she left, all she's done is come off. I don't think you can't see my arrow, but she's come down the road, and instead of turning left to go up onto Highway 89, she's gone right, and she's just hit the gas. And it's dark. Now, did she put her lights on? Presumably she did put her lights on. Presumably she did put her lights on. But even with lights on in the dark, a body of water will just look black. It would look like a road, in my opinion. So if she's just turned right instead of left, and she's hit the gas, and she's not even slowed down, thinking that she's on a road. She's only been driving a handful of months. She's 16 years old. 16 years old. And yeah, Mel, it's very dark. So even with lights on, that's still a very confusing and difficult terrain for a very inexperienced driver to navigate. Let alone the fact that she was intoxicated. She's confused and she's just gone the wrong way, and that's excuse me. Let's take a drink. That's what I think could have happened. And similarly, if indeed they were here instead of on the other side of the creek, over here somewhere, she's just gone off the road, lost control, and gone down the banking and gone in the water. And then just the current has drifted her like in this direction. So that's just my opinion. And, you know, we might find out these answers. I don't know whether we'll find out these answers today. I don't know whether we'll find them this week, but I think we will find them in the fullness of time. This is the thing that I've been speculating on for the last, 2 weeks. I speculated that there was a catalyst, that something went down at the party, and that's still possible, that something went down at the party. Or it could have been something much less salacious and much less nefarious. And that was, these are young people, and there was multiple parties going on. Adventures with Purpose in the Fox 40 news piece yesterday morning told us that there were multiple parties, because they were going to check Stampede Lake, Stampede Reservoir, which is just a bit further to the north, because it was their understanding, I think this is Stampede here, yeah, that there was a party going on here. They checked Boca after they'd been to Donna and she wasn't there. They went to Boca because there was partying going on around there. So there was multiple parties going on. So it could simply have been that these young people got bored at Prosser and thought, oh, there's a better party going on elsewhere, we'll go there. It could literally be as simple as that. No, Paula, it's 11 a.m. PST, 7 p.m. my time. I am going to find the stream shortly so we can stop stressing. So I'm going to try to see if one of the news channels is going to stream it. Let's have a look. I'm on KCRA at the moment. Doesn't look like they're going to be streaming it. They've got a live stream going on, but they've got adverts at the moment, so that's possible. If anybody knows what news channel is streaming it, then please do let me know.
Russia is accusing Ukraine.
No, ABC News are talking about Russia and Ukraine. How about Facebook? I'll go on Placer County Sheriff's Office Facebook to see whether they've set up a stream. Okay, so somebody's asking, will the press conference be live streamed on social media? Oh, yeah, here we are. KRCA3. Okay, got it. Let's find it. KRCA3. Hold on, they've got that wrong. KRCA3. I think they mean KCRA3. So that's the one that I've been on. So I'll keep that running in the background. And I'll also keep the Facebook running in the background as well, just so we don't miss it. Yeah, there'll be a number of different channels streaming it, but I'm not going to stream it off someone else's stream. I'm not going to stream Duty Ron. If you want to go and watch Duty Ron, then go and watch Duty Ron and give him the view and the watch time. You know, if you prefer to watch it on Duty Ron's channel, then please do. I'm not going to stream Duty Ron though. Right, okay, Miss Leah, thank you. KCRA3. Right, so I'm on it. I am on it. I've got it running in the background. They're just running ads at the moment to things. I don't know, but they're running ads. So we'll keep that going in the background. All right, so we're all set. When it starts, we can put it on. Has anybody got any questions or anything? Because I've done all the talking here. And I've not really engaged that much with you guys. I have a little. Michelle is on it. I am on it. I am on it. I do try. Yeah, I'm sure they will. They'll do a full and comprehensive talk screen. Hit the like button, please do. And they'll do a full and comprehensive talk screen. So alcohol level, probably every known drug to man, they'll test for. I suspect, my opinion, it'll be alcohol. You know, she's such a slim girl. I know she's tall, 5'7". But she's such a slim girl and she's only 16. So it's not even like her body would have any tolerance to alcohol, really. So she didn't necessarily need to drink a gallon of whiskey to make her very, very intoxicated. Okay. Prosser Creek Reservoir's current water temperature is 71. All right, so that's not freezing, is it? That's quite warm. But 14 feet under, you've got to remember, it's going to be colder. Like at what depth? Is that the surface temperature? Is that the temperature that a swimmer would experience? What would it be 14 foot under? But the the medical examiner will be able to ascertain a lot. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah. What we're waiting for, it's fine to theorize, it's fine to speculate. It's not, I speculate all the time, it's fine. That's what we do in true crime discussion. But at the same time, whilst remaining respectful, we've also got to remain grounded in what facts we do have. And at the moment, we don't have any facts on exactly what happened at that party, other than what a couple of friends have said. And we don't know what state Kiely was in when she got in that car and drove into the lake. We don't know whether there's going to be any evidence of foul play. So the medical examiner will give the manner of death, which is whether it's an accident or it's a homicide, or could be natural causes even. Right? She could have had a heart attack or something, unlikely, but, it's there in the realms of possibility. And then the cause of death, which is what killed her, what happened to her body to result in her dying. Yeah, about 10 minutes. I've got it on in the background, don't worry.
Fine. Dad says, hey, you know what, let's head on down.
They're talking about somebody called Valerie Smith at the moment, who I don't know who that is. So, I don't know. I don't know who that is. There was a comment there. Where was Dad? Dad has been on scene the entire 2 weeks. Dad was on scene within moments of Adventures with Purpose finding her vehicle. So Dad was there with Grandpa. And Dad apparently went kind of with the sheriffs to, discuss things with the sheriffs, and Grandpa wouldn't leave, and he sat down and he stayed with Kiely. And that's that iconic photo. Sometimes they are. I mean, in the UK, they are slow in the UK. But, it can take like 4 to 6 weeks for toxicology to come back. Depends on the area, depends on the lab, depends how busy they are, etc., etc. They can fast track. If it's a murder case, they'll fast track. But it can take a while. But it can be very quick. But the autopsy, I would imagine, will have taken place as soon as possible. I'd imagine that the autopsy will have taken place maybe today. I've even lost track of days. It's Monday today, isn't it? They'd want to get that autopsy done as soon as possible, because once the body is out of the water, even if decomposition has been slowed down because of the water temperature, it then accelerates as it hits the air. So they'd want to protect that body as much as they can and get that autopsy done as quickly as possible. So, thank you, Kim. Thank you for the $5. Very kind of you. They should have a cause of death very soon. Yeah. Yeah. A manner of death and a cause of death. Now, sometimes they will give the manner of death, but they won't give the cause of death because they have to do further tests. or they'll give a cause of death, but not a manner. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll get that information at the same time. We may do. We may do. I don't think we'll have results. I don't think we'll have results today. They might be able to give kind of some kind of preliminary stuff. Biodad has been on scene for the entire 2 weeks. Biodad has been there the entire 2 weeks. He was there within moments of Adventures with Purpose finding her. So that's where he's been. Oh, we've got more adverts. Right, I'm going to put this on. I'm not put the sound on. I'm going to put this on. Just so that I can prove to you that I'm not lying when I say it's just adverts on this thing. Right, let's close some windows. What can I close? Close that one. Right. Where am I going? That's what I've been looking at, as well as you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's please don't. I mean, if that's the insinuation that the family are somehow involved, please don't. Please respect that. You know, they had nothing to do with this. They weren't at the party. They weren't there. So they're part of a club that nobody, no parent or grandparent wants to be part of or should never be part of. And that is the loss of a child or a grandchild. So that entire family is destroyed right now. So no, they've got nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Am I on the right channel, you guys? Cassie RA News. That's what I'm on. Yeah, please don't. Please do not drink and drive. You know, we've had a lot of education for young people in recent years about drinking and driving and things like that. And the police do campaigns, usually like around Christmas time. They, you know, for people. And I think, to be honest, it's older people that still try it, thinking that they're experienced and that they can handle a bit of booze, and they're all right to just go 2 miles down the road. It seems to be older people that have the problem in the UK. Now, it might be very different amongst young people in California and that kind of party scene. Yeah, absolutely. Take their keys. The Fat Lady channel. Take the keys. Yeah. Don't let them drive. Thank you so much, Celeste, for the 350 South African Rand. I've learnt that since I've been streaming. Thank you so much. New subscriber from the northeast of England. Welcome. I'm the northwest of England. So I'm the opposite side of England to you. Oh, yeah, of course. That goes without saying. All right, so where's this presser? We've got 3 minutes to go, and it's this woman talking. Let's listen to what she's on about.
Particularly unusual at that time, but had this feeling that something wasn't right. She didn't know Keith all that well. Jacqueline had been married.
That doesn't sound like anything to do with Kiely Rodni. I'm going to check their Facebook. If anybody finds it, if anybody finds the stream, please let me know. So someone said on Facebook, go to any of the Sacramento or Reno area news stations, FB page, they will be live streaming it. Oh, okay. KCRA 3 News. Right, so I'm on their Facebook page. Nope, that's not it. I've got all the kind of live stuff from we've got Weather Channel. Doesn't seem to be on Facebook. Fox 40 said they'd have it live. Okay, let's try Fox 40 then. Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, WFLA. Oh, they are wonderful. Here we are. Here we are, guys. WFLA never let me down. They are brilliant. I love that channel so much. Here we go. Here we go, guys. I'll mute out. Let me know if there's an echo, please.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Moon. I'm the sheriff of Nevada County, and appreciate everyone's response and being here today to get some more information into our investigation. We have been working with the family and really since the very beginning trying to make sure that we focus on all of our efforts being for the family. And at this time, you know, last night we did receive some information of the recovery of the vehicle that we've been searching for, and it was located inside the Prosser Lake. It's located within a search zone that we have been searching since the very beginning of our operation. We were very fortunate that we had the assistance of a volunteer group, the Adventures with Purpose, that came out with some very specific expertise and were able to help us in locating the vehicle that we had been searching for several weeks. It's at these times that we really want to recognize the reason why we're all here, and that is for this family. We've said that from day one with our staff, the incredible amount of collaboration that we've received from our partners in this region. You know, clearly being a mountain town, we're used to having great collaboration, knowing that none of us have enough resources to go around. But when we all work together, I think it is an incredible show of how committed all of our agencies are for our community here. Working hand in hand in unified command, joint command with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. Folks from California Highway Patrol, the Truckee Police Department, and our friends from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The amount of effort that all of these agencies put together really truly is why we're here today. And as we eliminated a lot of tips and information that was coming in, I think it's very important to understand that all of that work did lead us to this time. And being able to focus on the services that we provide to our families here that are impacted. We recovered the vehicle. We recovered the vehicle last night. We have located a decedent inside the vehicle. We believe it is our missing person. We have not been able to positively identify, but it's more than likely where we are today. And we wanted to make sure that the family had all that information first. The last thing we want to do is have them learn information outside of our team. So I think that is one of the points that I really want to make sure that our communities know, and the folks that are watching today know, is truly how committed we've been throughout these last few weeks in coming to this resolution. It's still an active investigation, and I understand there will be, and we will continue to receive lots of questions regarding our investigation, and we will release what we can. But at this time, our commitment is to this family, and that is where we will consistently reach for making decisions on what we release. Again, it is still a very active investigation. So again, I appreciate everyone being here, getting this information out. It is the reason why we're here is because of the community support and the amount of work that was put into this investigation to where we could clearly identify very specific areas to search. The Adventures with Purpose folks did just a fantastic job at being able to locate the vehicle as quickly as they did, based on, again, a lot of heavy lifting that the folks behind me have done throughout the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate everyone being here, and we'll open up for some questions.
I'll go first.
Yes, ma'am.
What agency called in Adventure with Purpose, and when did you decide, if it was you guys, that we needed this extra help?
Captain Sam Brown from my agency will be happy to answer this question.
Yeah, thanks. The question was which agency requested. I'm not exactly sure that an agency had reached out and requested from within our unified command, but as everybody's reading online and seeing all the information that was coming out, and we realized that there was an interest from Adventures with Purpose, we did link up that group with Sergeant Mike Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. They had lots of communication as they were going to be traveling to this area, and then a lot of detailed information that was shared that wasn't necessarily out to the public yet, that hopefully was of assistance to helping them locate the area to go to.
You said the car was found in the area where you've been searching since the beginning. What did the AWP have that maybe you guys didn't have, or why was that missed in the initial search?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's one that everybody's going to have, right? Is how did we not find it when we were searching? The lake was extensively searched with side sonar, with an ROV. We had divers, we had swimmers. I think that's part of what we're going to have to go back to do and debrief. You know, when peace officers are out in the field and volunteers and searchers, it doesn't mean that they're experts in the field, right? These are sometimes ancillary duties, and we're calling from other agencies to try to jump in. And tracking underwater is an extremely difficult thing to do. So I think part of our debrief on any of these situations is how do we figure out to improve our services, work on our resources and the way that we use them. A lot of this equipment is high end, very expensive, and you really need to have a lot of practice and expertise. And I think that's where a group like Adventures with Purpose is able to focus and practice those skills and really hone them. And so we're appreciative that they were able to come out and locate it. I also don't want to take away, though, from anything from our volunteers, as well as law enforcement that have been out there. I mean, we literally had people swimming in the water looking down so that we didn't disturb the ground initially. You know, my understanding is the vehicle was upside down. That all why we weren't able to do it. I also could say that we eliminated a lot of areas that we would still be searching if we didn't have all the great people out there. And that helped give them some guidance as well, I think. But clearly their expertise in diving and their equipment that they brought to the table assisted us, and we appreciate that.
Did they specifically have any specific technology that all of these 16?
don't have the red tape that makes tape, and why might it be easier for a person to do this?
I don't know exactly what we're talking about in regards to red tape. I think that from the very beginning, we never deterred anybody other than certain scenes that we closed off at times that became areas of interest and we wanted to protect for evidence. So I don't know that there was any red tape ever put on this. I mean, if you look at the amount of man hours that went into it, it was like over 15,000. And I know it's even higher than that now. I don't think there was ever red tape. There were maps created for civilians to be out. The boat ramp in the lake were never actually shut down because the way we were looking at it is more eyes out there, the better off we're going to be for finding Kiely, and that was continually the goal. So I'm not sure that there was ever red tape. I think it comes down to lots of factors, and like I said, we're going to debrief and try to figure out how do we become better and do a better job at these types of operations.
Why did agencies believe it was an abduction at first?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of miscommunication. I don't know that it was ever labeled as an abduction. I think that you can never take that off the table. And so as we talked as a command group and unified command with all my partners that you see behind us, you couldn't remove that off the table because we hadn't found her. And so, that was some of the struggles with some of the services that we wanted to obtain and things we wanted to do, but we couldn't say it wasn't an abduction, but we also never said that it was an abduction. I think that was clarified fairly early on. But we also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option. If this was truly a search and rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources to conduct interviews. I think they identified over 400 juveniles, and to be able to interview all those folks and provide feedback off of all that, it takes an army of people. And I think we were lucky to be able to put that together between my partners and agencies that are right behind me.
Did any of the juveniles, anybody mention a car going over the side, a car in the water, out of all those?
I don't believe that statement was made, not to my knowledge.
Was there any indication that this was an accident or foul play?
That's still being investigated. If we'd like, we could turn it over for CHP and give some information. They are conducting the accident investigation utilizing their mate team.
Good morning, Josh Ellers, Assistant Chief of CHP Valley Division based in Sacramento, which Truckee's a part of. I can confirm that our department is conducting a fatality traffic collision investigation. We're harnessing all of our resources, working with all of our partners here. As you see, we're utilizing our NATE team, our multidisciplinary accident investigation team, to harness more data from the vehicle that was recovered. Also, we've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing, so I can't comment on the nature and details of that investigation, but I certainly appreciate all the partnership that we have here with our local county and state partners. We'll continue to assist in any overarching way that we can as an agency.
Do we know how close the vehicle was to that actual party site?
I don't have the exact location in terms of distance, but it was relatively close to the area in question.
Like a few hundred yards or half a mile?
I couldn't say. I haven't seen the exact data and the mapping. That's still ongoing.
Did many partygoers leave by the same route?
Now, I can't comment on all of that, but what I can tell you is, and I think it's been discussed, is this is a very popular area. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of vehicular traffic on and off road. So certainly crisscrossed and a lot of extensive movement in that area continually throughout this time of year.
Is there any suspicion that it could have been another car who maybe hit this car, or was it a one-person car situation?
I don't have that information that I could comment on at this time. What I can tell you is we'll do a thorough investigation. We'll take every bit and piece of information that we have, including what's already been provided to us, and we'll reach some conclusions that will be provided to the parties of interest with that.
Before Adventures with Purpose went out there this weekend, when was the last time that we had swimmers or divers from you or any of these 16 agencies out there searching that area?
I'd defer back to the Nevada County Sheriff for that question.
Yeah, I would say that we actually had divers, not necessarily in Prosser, but in lots of bodies of water up until even the days that they were there. There were many ponds they were following up on Coldstream, as well as other bodies of water. So I don't know that dive teams ever discontinued. It was more of trying to still follow up on all of those things. And I believe Adventures with Purpose also had been diving at other lakes as well in the area.
Is there any time from the time that Adventures with Purpose started, how long it took them to find it?
You're talking on Prosser Lake specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was relatively quickly, but I don't have an exact time. Like again, we're gonna have to debrief with them, figure out, between putting equipment down, getting in the water, and identifying where the car was at.
Can you talk about what happened last night in terms of taking the car out? What kind of law enforcement was there and what happened last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the law enforcement partners you see behind me were present during that time, trying to do the best they could for ensuring that everything was done correctly, and also trying to add some levels of privacy to the best of the ability in worrying about the family and ensuring that they were covered as well. But I mean, beyond that, I don't know what your specific question is asking.
Logistically, how do you get a car out that's offshore? How does that happen? And then where does the car go? What happens? What happens from last night to when you arrived to today?
Yeah, so once the car was located, dive teams were assembled. I believe Placer County was probably still the primary dive team. They have to use lots of devices to lift the car, turn it over, and then the use of tow trucks was what made it possible for pulling the vehicle out of the water. And the vehicle is taken down. The FBI has offered up assistance and are going to be helping to conduct investigation regarding the vehicle itself, and making sure that we don't miss something that may be in there that we're not aware of.
Are you guys confident the car was in the water since the night of the party?
I have no reason to believe that it wasn't, but until we have those answers, I wouldn't know the answer to it.
Can you just clarify as far as what teams had been in that area before Adventures with Purpose, if any, on that specific, on Prosser?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost so many that it would be hard to link out between the different teams. There were numerous boats, Yuba County, Alameda, Nevada County, Placer County, swimmers came from Washoe County. We had divers from every single one of those agencies and then some. I mean, it was a vast amount of people. And I would just say, unless you've conducted these types of searches and tried to do it, it does take a level of expertise, and nothing's perfect. When you fly a helicopter over the air trying to identify if something is there, most places give that less than a 5% probability of detection, meaning if you flew over, you only have a 5% chance of seeing something. You had trees and brush and bushes and dirt and all these other things, and it becomes a pretty difficult task. Even though once you find the answer, on hindsight, everything looks 20/20. The reality is it's not that simple. It is pretty complex and it's tough. So again, we're just appreciative that the resources came out and were able to help us in locating.
Were there signs that the person in the car tried to escape?
I think that's too preliminary for us to be able to determine that at this time.
Was there more than one body in the vehicle?
No, there was not more than one body in the vehicle.
Describe the difficulty of what water does over 2 weeks to evidence.
It depends. That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. But it can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to, obviously, things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
There likely could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that a car did go into the water there. Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area impede seeing those signs?
I think everything's a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the MAPE team from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers.
And it seems that Adventures with Purpose have pretty sophisticated equipment. Is this something that the agencies here have, or you all still need?
Yeah, I'll have to debrief with them to figure out what equipment exactly they use to see if it's items that we have or if it's a matter of training with the items that we have. So until we talk to them and know exactly what they used and how they went about it, I wouldn't be able to answer that correctly.
They also said the car was 14 feet deep. Did y'all go that far to look for the car?
Yeah, some of that information is sometimes deceiving. So yeah, the car was reported at 14 or 15 feet. However, the water level since the 6th has also dropped a vertical 3.5 to 4 feet, which could be 20 to 25 feet off of shore. So a lot of things have changed in those aspects. Until we really can look into all that information and sort through it, it's difficult to say whether those factors had a play in it or not. I think it's still more important for us to debrief, look at training, look at equipment, look at tools, and look at outside entities that are experts where this is maybe their full-time gig that they do, and try to see how we have that involvement from the community to come out and help support.
At this time, can you tell if there are any signs of foul play?
At this time, we're not going to be able to say anything like that.
It's been said that people were drinking at the party that night. Was anything found in the car that could lead you to believe that she was drinking that, or the person found was?
Yeah, the investigation's ongoing, so we're not gonna be able to comment on that.
Seemed like where they found the car, it might have been pretty far from the road. Do you have suspicions that maybe the people were parking on that little island?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that either unless somebody gave some statements to that. I hadn't heard any information like that.
Do you have any theories as to how the car got in the water, and also what gear was the car found in?
I think if I make up theories, then I'm just guessing, and I'm going to lead us back into a trail that's not certain. So we'll wait until we have those facts and details. And as far as the car, we're not going to release any information until we've done a solid investigation on it.
Who received the first call from Adventures with Purpose, and what was that call like?
I don't know that we received a first call. I think we reached out to them after we read it online. And so I'm not sure, you know, I mean, again, with 150 law enforcement officials, it's possible that a call came in and something happened. But from the Unified Command and talking with my partners, none of us were aware of an initial. So we tasked the investigative sergeant with contacting them and reaching out. So I believe, best I know, we did that proactively on our end.
And they contacted the family?
I think there's still some sketchy details on exactly how that contact went out. So I don't want to speak on behalf of the family.
What was it when you heard, you personally, when you heard that they might have found the car? What went through your head?
Well, I think what we all are thinking, which is hopefully this is true, and we got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that we still do right by the family. Our biggest concern is making sure that the family has been aware of everything from day one, and that we're not shielding them, but we're also not bombarding them with things. There's a lot of ups and downs throughout this investigation, a lot of emotional turns throughout the whole thing, and our goal was to make sure we're supportive of the family throughout this whole task and doing our best in that.
How long will an investigation into the car, maybe that's for Highway Patrol or FBI, how long does an investigation to look at a car take to figure out what may have happened?
I mean, I think there's a lot of factors in that. I don't mind turning it over to CHP and let them.
Because obviously we have a multifaceted investigation with multiple agencies, it can take time. You know, the FBI is working, evaluating the vehicle. We have to come in and do that. We want to allow them to work. We'll come in and examine data, examine the vehicle, have all of our investigators look at that car. So depending on circumstances, it can be several days, it can be several weeks. We also want to wait on other information related from the coroner's office and other things that all get compiled into a comprehensive investigation. So the easy answer is it could take a while.
All right, we've had the opportunity to hear from most reporters. Most have asked 2 questions. Is there anybody that had a follow-up question that they have not been able to ask yet?
Got a follow-up.
Go ahead, sir.
There was a report that Adventures with Purpose was told by police that they did not need to search Foster, or at least in the specific area where the car was found, because that had been extensively searched already. Is that true?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably not accurate. And we shared maps, ping information, and locations. And so we probably shared that was extensively searched and sonar was used, and that may add to the level of where they chose to go to first or last. However, nothing was prevented or shared. And I don't believe that we gave any indication that we thought we knew where she was at, because clearly from all of our daily press releases, we reported over and over again that we didn't know where she was at, and we needed anybody's help and assistance in finding that location.
But you were working in partnership with Adventure with Purpose?
Yeah, I believe that what ultimately occurred was that our sergeant was able to make contact with them, Sergeant Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office, come up with a plan and share information on where things were at. So we're still appreciative, like I said, of them being able to locate the vehicle.
Will they get the cash reward for helping find the vehicle and the body?
It's not a question I'll be able to answer.
May I ask, have you been able to determine a cause of death, and will there be a toxicology report conducted?
The question was, have we determined cause of death, and will there be a toxicology inquest? Yes. Autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Toxicology results generally take 4 to 6 weeks for a return on those, and at that time we will provide that back over to Nevada County.
Thank you. Does anyone from the family want to make any comments at this point specifically about this massive search and all the tips that came in?
Don't believe they do at this point. Yeah. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the press conference. Thank you all for coming here today. We certainly appreciate it, and pay attention to both Placer County Sheriff's Office as well as Nevada County Sheriff's Office as we continue to share details as they become available. Thank you.
breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JV Buno.
Pending positive ID, authorities believe the body of 16-year-old Kiely Rodni.
Right, guys, if you know me at all, if you've been to my channel at all, you'll know that I'm not normally speechless. But on this occasion, I am struggling. I am struggling to find words to be positive. And also, if you know my channel at all, you know I try to be positive. What was that? Yeah, crime time. What was that? Yes, harsh reality. What a shit show. Oh, dear me. Dear me. I don't know what to say. Look, right, let's start with the positives. They answered lots of questions. I thought that was good of them. I think the comment someone made, I put it up on screen, was that his face is turning redder and redder and redder. And he was. And I thought, thank you. I'm glad someone else saw that. It felt like, yes, there are lots of things they can't say yet, right? They can't say anything about the investigation yet because they've not got results from the car testing. They've not got the autopsy results. They confirmed the toxicology would take 4 to 6 weeks, which is exactly what it takes in the UK. So I'm not surprised by that. All of those things, looking at the circumstances of Kiely's death, they can't answer. And that is perfectly fine. We expect that. But there were things that he, the red-faced guy, I've forgotten his name, and others should have been briefed on. They should have been briefed on. Just the simple things like, you know, how did you get in touch with Adventures with Purpose? And the circumstances in which she was found. Like, we saw it live. They didn't need to hide that. We saw it live. So why weren't they briefed on those specifics? Adventures with Purpose told us more in the first 2 minutes of their live than they did the official law enforcement, Placer County and Nevada County, the official investigative bodies could not tell us the simple things that Adventures with Purpose could. And I suspected that Adventures with Purpose would tell us more. And that's why I played the first couple of minutes of their live right at the beginning of my live. The link to Adventures with Purpose live, just in case you missed it, is in the description box of this video. I can understand that they are embarrassed. I can also understand that they now have a lot of making up to do. And I do have some sympathy with them, that I think they did try. I think it's very clear that certainly in that first week, they pulled out all the stops to find her. However, I think some of my concerns, and I'm not holding my hands up here and I'm not singing and dancing saying, I was right. I'm not saying that. Please do not misconstrue what I'm going to say next. That I made a video a few days ago and the question in the title was, are the cops being misled in this investigation? Because they absolutely did say, and I'm glad some of you remembered, that they said this was most likely an abduction. They said it. It was most likely an abduction. Reading sonar like a neurosurgeon versus a family doctor reading an MRI. Yeah, I guess. One has more expertise, time to focus on things instead of lots of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Leslie, for the $10. It's very kind of you. I've lost my train of thought now. Oh, what was I saying? Oh dear, I've been awake far too long. I've had so little sleep. I've had 2.5 hours in the last 38 hours. So I am very tired now. So I've completely lost what I was going to say. Totally lost what I was going to say. Yeah. Got it. They said this was most likely an abduction. And I said, I hope they're not being misled by Kiely's friends. Because they were saying that there's no way she'd drink and drive. And in the next breath, Sammy said she was so intoxicated that, I couldn't ride with her. So we know Kiely, if we're going to believe Sammy, was intoxicated. It was a party, for heaven's sake. So, of course she's going to be intoxicated. And perhaps Sammy felt guilty that she'd left her and was saying this has to be an abduction because Kiely's a smart girl. There's no way she'd have got in her car. She'd have either slept there or she'd have, found another way to get home. It must be an abduction. And I think law enforcement have been led by that. And Kiely's family, Kiely's mother has spoken numerous times and has appealed, and then my heart goes out to her, as appealed for, whoever has her to come forward. And I think that's understandable. I think if a family doesn't do that, it looks odd. Because if you are going to admit that your child has had an accident and has done it because they're drunk, drink driving, that's a very, very hard pill to swallow. And it's an absolutely understandable for them to stand up and appeal for someone to have her and bring her home, because it means she's still alive. To accept anything else admits she's dead, and it goes there. And in one interview, Kiely's mother my heart broke for it. It really did. I welled up. I really did. And I've got a heart of stone, guys, but I welled up when she said, I'm paraphrasing, but she's like the heart, like the bad thoughts. It's hard to stop the bad thoughts. And the bad thoughts were that she's dead. And it's heartbreaking. However, he lied, because they did say it was most likely an abduction. And I think a lot of what we've seen on my channel, as well as anybody else's, about playing up an abduction scenario or something bad happened at the party scenario, as in part being driven by law enforcement. And I don't know whether you would share my opinion or not, but in my opinion, that's what it looks like. And the fact, as I said in my live yesterday, I was 50-50 at the beginning, right at the beginning of the case. I was 50-50. When I looked at the map and I saw the reservoir so close to the party and the campground, I thought, she's gone in the water. Something's happened and she's gone in the water. But then they came out and said they'd searched it. And he said, I knew I'd heard it. I knew I'd heard it from law enforcement. They had sonar. Now, obviously, their sonar wasn't fit for purpose and was probably fit for, looking for, whatever you find in really shallow water, right? It wasn't fit for purpose. It wasn't fit for this purpose. So God bless and thank the Lord for Adventures with Purpose, who had that equipment, the expertise and the capacity to go there, to drop everything and go there. And I saw it in my comments, and I'm going to get the website up. I saw it in the comments that how do Adventures with Purpose afford all this equipment, and to do this, how do they afford to do it? And they do it by donations, and solely donations. So their YouTube channel makes money, and they take donations. So if you can afford it, if you can afford the price of a coffee, then please don't have your coffee. Make a donation, however small, to Adventures with Purpose. I've donated over the last 24 hours, and I think I'll donate every time I know that they're on a case. I will make a donation to them. So if you can, please donate. So I've put the link in the chat, but the chat's moving quite fast. The link to the Adventures with Purpose donation page is in the description box of this video. Apparently not. Apparently they don't accept rewards. Now, I don't know whether that's true absolutely, but I think they should. I can understand why they might not, but I think they shouldn't, and they just pile it back into into their work. But please donate, because we need, law enforcement needs people like this. They need people like this because clearly they don't have the equipment or the expertise. And in this case, that resulted in Kiely most likely lying in 14 feet of water, just 55 feet from the shore. That's all it was, 14 feet underwater, 55 feet from the shore. That's all. Wasn't right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was 14 feet. If they don't have the equipment and the capacity to see a submerged vehicle 14 feet under, their equipment is not fit for purpose. Adventures with Purpose found her vehicle in 35 minutes. Adventures with Purpose told us that they put 2 boats with sonar equipment in the water at 10:40. By 11:15, they'd found the vehicle. And Nick, one of the divers, suited up, went in and found her. That's right, Paula. The next search is... I don't know whether you spelt her name right, but I think it's Janessa. So I've forgotten her name. I'm so tired, guys. I'm so tired, honestly. But yeah, it's missing out of Selma, California. She's been missing for as long as Kiely has. And the circumstances of her going missing was odd. I'm going to do a video on her. Jalissa. That's it. Thank you. I'm going to do a video on her when I've had some sleep, because she's not had nearly enough publicity, and she deserves it. All missing people deserve it. So that's their next job. They're going to Selma, and they're going to look for Julissa. So there we go. So the next stage is waiting for the autopsy results. I'm probably not going to speculate any further on the channel until we've got those results, and then I'll, if they release them live, if they do a press conference to release them live, which they sometimes do, I'll go live with that conference. And I'm not going to speculate on any further. I'm not going to get into the ifs, whats, and maybes. I think we've all done enough of that. I think we need some answers now. So that's what I'm going to do. Whether or not there'll be a video on the channel tomorrow, I think there probably will be, but it depends how much sleep I have tonight. But in the next few days, the next couple of days, I'm going to do a video on Julissa. And that will be for my Where Is series on my other channel, Michelle Walks. I do a series on Michelle Walks called Where Is, and I just publicise a missing persons case. And I've not done one for a while, so I'll do Julissa. Because I've been following it, but, you know, obviously all of my efforts have been on Kiely. Thank you so much. They're buying a piece of equipment to use to see deep silt and dirt. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you, Karen, for the $20. It's very kind. Yeah, all missing people deserve the recognition, the attention, the media interest, and they don't get it. And just occasionally, you get a case like this one that everybody is fascinated and horrified by in equal measure. And it really takes off. And that's what's happened in this case. So I am going to call it a day because I am very tired now. My adrenaline's kind of dropping. It's actually only 20 to 8. 20 to 8. And I don't think I've gone to bed this early since maybe I was about 7. But I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to see whether I can get some sleep. I probably won't. You'll probably see me commenting on Facebook in the next 20 minutes or something. But yeah, I am going to try and get some sleep. Before I do, though, I'm going to rewind and see what Hey JB from WFLA has had to say on it, because I like his coverage of cases. I really do. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me and spending a couple of hours with me. Thank you so much to Miss Leah for modding. Thank you for the super chats and super stickers. It's very kind. Finally, please, if you can spare the price of a coffee, please make a donation to Adventures with Purpose. All right, guys, I'll speak to you very soon. Have a good evening or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Bye, folks.